Hello and welcome everybody for a webinar on neuroanatomy episode 4. My dear students, we have completed the anatomy of forebrain. Anatomy of forebrain means prosencephalon. So in prosencephalon we have completed the study of telencephalon and diencephalon. So today we will proceed further with our next part, and that next part is mesencephalon. But my dear students, mesencephalon is a part of brainstem. That means mesencephalon means midbrain, and along with midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, which are part of rhombencephalon, they make a brainstem. So today we will study the brainstem, which comes just below the diencephalon. So from above onwards, in the forebrain, we studied cerebrum, then we studied basal nuclei, then we studied diencephalon, all the parts of diencephalon. And after diencephalon comes mesencephalon, which is the first part of brainstem. So in this GIF, you can see the colored portion is a brainstem. That means brainstem has got three parts. The first upper part, which is red color, is a midbrain. Second part is a pons, which is in blue color, and third part is a medulla oblongata, which is in green. So all these parts, they are of around an inch of size. So 1 inch each you can see in a real brain. And behind the colored portion, which is attached to almost to the backside of the pons, is called as cerebellum. So cerebellum is attached to the, it is located behind the pons. So pons and cerebellum, they make metencephalon. Okay, so midbrain is a mesencephalon, pons is a metencephalon, and your medulla oblongata is a myelencephalon. Okay, so we will go first for mesencephalon. You can see in this chart, prosencephalon has got two parts, and those are telencephalon and diencephalon. Mesencephalon means midbrain, this portion, and next is this portion which has got two parts. That is metencephalon. Metencephalon means for brainstem comes pons, and myelencephalon means medulla oblongata. So both metencephalon and myelencephalon, they make rhombencephalon, which is called as hindbrain. So from forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, we get this terminology, and the respective parts of these three parts of large parts of brain we get on this side. After that comes your spinal cord. So let us study what is brainstem. Now look at this image. Midbrain, pons and medulla, they make a stem-like structure. Means stem, if you take a rose flower has got a stem to hold in a hand. Similarly, we have a brain stem. We can hold it on which the whole brain rests. So the brain stem is located between the cerebrum and the spinal cord. It provides a pathway for the tracts running between the higher and lower neural centers. So that means it allows a pathway for the different tracts. Okay, and you can see here there is a cerebrum all above, and below that, of course, there is a spinal cord. Now this brainstem consists of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. We have seen those three parts earlier also. Each region is about an inch in length. So you can see 1 inch midbrain, almost little bigger is a pons, and then there is a medulla oblongata. Microscopically, it consists of deep gray matter surrounded by white matter. So here in the brainstem, the gray matter is inside and white matter is outside. Whereas in the cerebrum, gray matter is outside and the white matter is inside. So that is why this procedure which is present, I mean the microscopic structure which is present in the brainstem, it continues further in the spinal cord. Okay. Brainstem produce autonomic behaviors necessary for the survival. So in short, one function I am giving you right now. We will see in detail one by one as we proceed further. Okay. please move this away from the, there is something obstacle there. Well, now what is brainstem? Actually, what brainstem does? Brainstem processes information between spinal cord and cerebrum, or also behind in the cerebellum. It controls automatic behaviors necessary for the survival of an individual. It is associated with 10 of the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. That means there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 10 of them are attached to the brain stem, 3 parts of brain stem, because 2 are attached to the forebrain, that is cerebrum. And the brainstem includes midbrain, which is called as mesencephalon, pons, which is a part of metencephalon, and medulla oblongata, which is called as myelencephalon. Okay. Some consider the diencephalon part of the brainstem as well, because above the mesencephalon is the diencephalon, which is a part of forebrain. So it is in continuity, and also it looks, in line. So some consider diencephalon also part of brainstem. So you can see here, purple color part is a diencephalon, thalamus. Okay. So sometimes they consider this also as brainstem, but actually the green portion which is shown below is a diencephalon, brainstem. So you can see the 2 parts of the midbrain here, then you can see the pons here, and you can see the medulla oblongata here. Yellow color is a spinal cord. You can see the brainstem taken out here. This all purple color is a diencephalon. Okay, and then you can see this green colored stem which has got 3 parts. Well, here is an anterior view of brainstem. So from anterior side, if you look at the brainstem, it will show you like this. The 2 parts of midbrain are seen like this. They are called as cerebral peduncles. There are 2 of them, cerebral peduncles. Above it, there is a diencephalon. And above diencephalon, there are basal ganglia. And above basal ganglia, there is a white matter which is internal capsule. So above internal capsule, there is a gray matter of the cerebral cortex. Likewise, we have studied all that. So you try to recall every part which you have studied and relate with this figure. Okay. Then below the midbrain, you can see pons. You can see the pons which is attached immediately behind to the cerebellum. And below pons, you can see elongated medulla oblongata. It is oblong in shape, so it is called as medulla oblongata. Okay. Well, here is another image for you, which is a lateral view of brainstem. From lateral side, if you look at brainstem, see how it looks. Okay, here you can see the cerebral peduncle, which is a part of midbrain. Here you can see the pons, and behind the pons, it is cerebellum, which is attached to the pons through middle cerebellar peduncle. So cerebellar peduncle are different, and cerebral peduncles are different. Peduncle म्हणजे देठ, ज्या देठाने जे अटॅच झालेलं असतं त्याला पेडंकल म्हणतात. Below the pons, there is a medulla oblongata. So medulla oblongata has different features like anterior median fissure, pyramids, inferior olivary nucleus complex, cuneate tubercle, and so on. We'll come to that part later on when we come to the study of medulla oblongata. Now this is the posterior view of brainstem. From posterior, if you see from posterior side, if you see the brainstem, it looks like this, and most of the things are not very clear as such as far as the posterior view of the brainstem is concerned, because on the posterior you see the posterior superior colliculi and inferior colliculi, 4 of them in pairs they are in. Okay, you can see the little portion of cerebral peduncle. You can see the superior cerebellar peduncle which is attached to the midbrain from cerebellum. Then also you can see the middle cerebellar peduncle and inferior cerebellar peduncle. The cerebellar peduncles are 3 of them, and they are attached to the 3 parts of brainstem: superior to the midbrain, middle to the pons, and inferior to the medulla oblongata. Okay, and behind the medulla oblongata and in front of your cerebellum, there is a 4th ventricle. You can see the 4th ventricle. In this case, the cerebellum has been removed, so you can see the posterior side of brainstem this clearly. Okay, and below the 4th ventricle, we have a medulla oblongata. Well, so this was all about brainstem, and brainstem is for motor and sensory pathway to body. So motor and sensory pathway from brain which go to the body through spinal cord and through nerves. Okay, for that purpose it makes a pathway. Plus, brainstem has got vital centers located in it. So, cardiac center is located in the brainstem, respiratory center is located in the brainstem, and vasomotor center is located in the brainstem, mostly in the medulla oblongata. Okay. Now, these are the components of the brainstem. For more details, if you see sensory ascending pathways, which are dorsally located, there relay nuclei and tracts in the brainstem. Motor descending pathways, they are located ventrally, tracts motor nuclei in the brainstem. Cerebellar pathways, tracts cerebellar afferent and efferent nuclei. Cranial nerve, sensory and motor tracts, cranial nerve nuclei, nerve entry and exit points. Rhythmic chewing, respiration, cardiovascular regulation, and gain adjustment for reflexes. These are all components of brainstem. Modulatory systems, so locus coeruleus, raphe, and substantia nigra, chemically coded nuclei. So this is in more details as far as the component of brainstem is concerned. Well, now this diagram is for you to differentiate three parts of brainstem, the three major divisions of brainstem. If you take a sagittal section of a brainstem, and if you look at this, this is a whole brain sagittal section, okay? Because you can see the cerebellum here, you can see the corpus callosum here, you can see, this is third ventricle, this is a hypothalamus, this is infundibular stalk pituitary located here. This is epiphysis cerebri, I mean spinal body. Here you can see the midbrain and you can cerebral aqueduct. So for your better understanding, I am showing you it in color. So midbrain is in a light green color. We can see a strap. So that portion is a midbrain, mesencephalon. Now see the pons. Pons, purple color. This is a pons, and of course this is bluish color, light bluish color is a medulla oblongata. These are the three major divisions of brainstem. Okay. And same image is shown to you again. Now you will not make a mistake in identifying the three parts of brainstem: midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Other structures around them, you can see fourth ventricle here. You can see the vermis. Vermis is a connecting part between two cerebellar hemispheres. You can see the cortisominal cistern. Cistern means pool of CSF. You can see the mammillary body here. You can see the optic nerve here. Behind the optic nerve, you can see the infundibular stalk. You can see the hypothalamus here. And you can see the third ventricle here. There are many of them. You can see different ventricles in the brainstem in this slide. Mesencephalon has got a cavity, CSF cavity, and it is not a ventricle, but it is an aqueduct. So we call it a cerebral aqueduct. Aqueduct of Sylvius is also called, is the other name for it. Now in the metencephalon means between the pons and cerebellum, there is a fourth ventricle. Similarly, in the myelencephalon means between the medulla oblongata and cerebellum, there is a fourth ventricle. So actually, fourth ventricle is the cavity of the brainstem along with cerebral aqueduct. Okay. Here you can see the brainstem with the attachment of most of the cranial nerves, because I told you out of 12, 10 are attached to the brainstem. This diagram provides you brainstem in three different colors: greenish, bluish, and reddish. Here is a pinkish portion which is of diencephalon. So for diencephalon, we have studied that second cranial nerve, and above on the cerebrum, first cranial nerve, the olfactory and optic nerve, they are attached to the forebrain. So for midbrain, there are two nerves, third and fourth. And for pons, there are four nerves, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for medulla oblongata, there are four nerves, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it is actually 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 4. Two are attached to the forebrain, cerebrum. 2 are attached to the midbrain. 4 are attached to the pons, and 4 are attached to the medulla oblongata. This is how the attachment of most of the cranial nerves are shown here, and 10 of them are attached on the brainstem. Now we'll go to mesencephalon. So we'll have a short study of mesencephalon. Sometimes the question may be asked, this question can be asked on a midbrain short note. So mesencephalon is also called as midbrain. It processes sight. Sight means vision. Sound means hearing, and associated reflexes. It maintains consciousness. It processes sight, sound, and associated reflexes, and now number 3 and 4 are attached to it. Now third is a oculomotor nerve. So oculomotor nerve means it is going from midbrain. So because it is a descending nerve, because it is a motor nerve, plus it is also autonomic, so it is also ascending. The fourth cranial nerve is a pure motor nerve. It's called as trochlear nerve. It is for the one muscle of the eyeball, so it is also going to the eyeball. And two basic divisions we see in midbrain, and that is tectum. Tectum means the roof part of midbrain, and tegmentum means floor part of midbrain. So tectum and tegmentum, these are the two parts of your midbrain. And little more information about midbrain I am showing you in this slide. This bluish color portion which is shown on this image is your midbrain. Okay, so it is located between uh, diencephalon and pons. Okay, this is diencephalon and this is pons. Two bulging cerebral peduncles on the ventral side you can see, and these contain descending fibers that go to the cerebellum via the pons, and descending pyramidal tracts. Okay, running through the midbrain is the hollow cerebral aqueduct. You can see cerebral aqueduct here, which connects the third ventricle here to the fourth ventricle. So this is a cerebral aqueduct. The roof of the aqueduct is tectum above. This is a tectum, contains the corpora trigemina and two superior colliculi that control reflex movements of the eyes, hair, and neck in the response to the visual stimuli, and two inferior colliculi that control reflex movements of the head, neck, and tongue in response to the auditory stimuli. So visual stimuli and auditory stimuli. This much of information is more than sufficient for midbrain. So you know the anatomy and little part of physiology also as far as midbrain is concerned. This another diagram shows you the different parts of midbrain, mesencephalon. The square here, you can see the square here, one square here in the square. You can see in the middle there is a midbrain, and you can see the tectum part. You can see the cerebral aqueduct hole here, and you can see the tegmentum portion here, and different structures located in the midbrain are also shown in this. Superior peduncle, superior colliculus, inferior colliculus, reticular formation, because reticular formation is a part of brainstem, and red nucleus. Well, another picture to show you the attachment of third and fourth cranial nerve, because they exit, because they are motor. Oculomotor and trochlear exit from the brain. Exit means they come out. Enter means they go inside, because sensory have to enter and motor have to exit. Midbrain also contains the headquarters of the reticular activating system. We have already studied that well. And on each side of the midbrain, there is a red nucleus and a substantia nigra. Substantia nigra means black substance. Nigra means black substance. And red nucleus means red in color. So you can see the red nucleus here, and substantia nigra means black substance here. Okay, red nucleus contains numerous blood vessels, so it is red, and receives info from the cerebrum, and issues subconscious motor commands concerned with the muscle tone and the posture. Lateral to the red nucleus is the melanin containing substantia nigra. Melanin is a black substance, okay, black pigment, and that is why it is called as substantia nigra. Nigra means black. This secretes dopamine to inhibit the excitatory neurons of the basal nucleus. Damage to the substantia nigra would cause what? Of course, depression, lack of dopamine secretion. Okay? Mesencephalon, process of visual and auditory sensations. Corpora quadrigemina in the tectum, superior colliculi visual reflex, inferior colliculi auditory reflex. Now, substantia nigra, which is present in the tegmentum, It has neurons inhibit activity of cerebral nuclei by releasing dopamine. If damage results in less dopamine release and muscle tone increases, muscle rigidity, difficulty initiating movement, which leads to Parkinson's disease. So substantia nigra damage will lead to eventually to Parkinson's disease. Reticular formation is for consciousness maintenance that we have studied earlier. And here is another last picture of your, sorry, here is the another picture of pons now, because we have finished mesencephalon. So now we'll go to metencephalon. In the beginning also I told you that metencephalon has got two parts, pons and cerebellum. So we will not study cerebellum because cerebellum is not part of brainstem. We'll study after brainstem cerebellum tomorrow. So we'll study pons now. Pons is a word meaning. Word meaning of pons is bridge. You know, bridge on the roads which you see. Similarly, it looks like a bridge between the pons and medulla oblongata, plus some cerebellar peduncles going from there. So it is called as uh, bridge. Literally means bridge. It is wedged between the midbrain and medulla. Okay, it's in between. Contains sensory and motor nuclei for 4 cranial nerves. That also I have told you in the beginning. That is fifth. After fourth comes fifth, because 3 and 4 are on the midbrain. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that means trigeminal, abducens, facial, and auditory or vestibulocochlear. Vestibulocochlear is a perfect name for that. And also we get respiratory nuclei on the pons. Agnostic and pneumotaxic centers work with the medulla to maintain respiratory rhythm. Okay. Nuclear tracts that process and relay information to and fro from cerebellum. Ascending, descending, and transverse tracts that interconnect other portions of central nervous system. So you can see once again here, pons is involving somatic and visceral motor control. It contains nuclei for the 4 cranial nerves, that is 5, 6, 7, and 8. It contains nuclei of reticular formation. It control the control of respiration that modifies the info from medulla. Nuclear tracts passing through the cerebellum, motor and somatosensory information. Nuclear tracts to other portions of the CNS just passing through the pons. Here you can see the pons, cross section, and you can see separate pons here, the enlarged pons here. You can see the behind part, there is a fourth ventricle, behind fourth ventricle, there is a cerebellum. So almost 4 ventricle lines between pons and cerebellum. Here you can see the different parts of pons here, superior cerebral peduncle, middle cerebral peduncle, and pontine nuclear. Pontine means in the pons of pontine, reticular formation here, fourth ventricle location here. Okay. Now we'll go to the last part of the brainstem, and that is medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata means myelencephalon. So myelencephalon with metencephalon, together they make a rhobencephalon. Rhobencephalon means hindbrain. So in hindbrain we have pons, medulla oblongata, and cerebellum, not midbrain. So not mesencephalon. Mesencephalon is a midbrain. So in medulla oblongata is the most inferior region of the brainstem. You can see in this image here, brainstem. It becomes the spinal cord at the level of foramina magnum. When it comes at the level of foramina magnum, it becomes what we call spinal cord. Ventrally, two regions, the medullary pyramids, are visible. These are formed by the large motor corticospinal tracts. And right above the medulla, spinal cord junction, most of these fibers cross, that is decussation. So right above the medulla is a part of medulla oblongata and spinal cord junction. So this portion comes here. There is a crossing of fibers, that's called as decussation. In physiology, it's useful for you. Most inferior part of the brain means most inferior part of the brainstem is medulla oblongata. It connects brain to spinal cord. It relays information. Pyramids, there are two pyramids, two longitudinal ridges formed by corticospinal tracts. So those pyramids contain corticospinal tracts. Medulla oblongata regulates autonomic functions such as regulation of arousal, heart rate, blood pressure, pace for respiration and digestion. And the last four cranial nerves are attached to it. Either they come or go. And those are 9, 10, 11, 12. Ninth is the glossopharyngeal, 10th is the vagus, 11th is the accessory, and 12th is the hypoglossal. Some of them are mixed, some of them are sensory. We'll come to that point later on when we study the different cranial nerves. The medulla oblongata has got nuclei, and nuclei in the medulla are associated with autonomic control, cranial nerves, and motor and sensory relay. Autonomic nuclei are cardiovascular center, alter the rate and force of cardiac contractions, alter the tone of vascular smooth muscle. So it's very important center here now. Respiratory rhythmicity center is also located in the medulla oblongata. Receive input from the pons. And additional centers are emesis center. Emesis means vomiting. Deglutition center. Deglutition means swallowing. Coughing center means for the purpose of cough. Hiccuping. Hiccuping म्हणजे उचक्या येणे. Okay. And sneezing. Sneezing means sinca. So you can see these important additional road centers are located in the medulla oblongata. So these are all essential for the reflexes. Okay. So they are important, and their centers are located in the medulla oblongata. Now this is the enlarged image of medulla oblongata. You can see medulla oblongata together with the other two parts of the brainstem here. Same has been enlarged and shown you. You can see here in this picture the nucleus, okay, and you can see different major parts of medulla oblongata, like the cardiovascular center is shown here. Nucleus, cardiovascular center, then there is a respiratory rhythmicity center, then it's a solitary nucleus, and you can see the nucleus cuneatus, nucleus gracilis, reticular formation, which is also present in the all three of the parts of brainstems. Well, I think this is enough for you. And medulla oblongata has got sensory and motor nuclei of 4 cranial nerves. Okay, sometimes it is counted as 5 also, but 8 is between pons and medulla oblongata, but actually 4, right from glossopharyngeal to hypoglossal. Glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, and hypoglossal. 8 is between pons and medulla oblongata, so it can be counted. And relay nuclei of, say, nucleus gracilis, nucleus cuneatus pass somatic sensory information to the thalamus, and nuclei relay information from the spinal cord, cerebral cortex, and the brainstem to the cerebellar cortex. Medulla oblongata nuclei, important, we'll see now. The first one is cardiovascular control center. It adjusts force and rate of the heart contraction. And next is respiratory center. It controls rate and depth of the breathing. And additional centers which we have seen earlier, like emesis center for regulation of vomiting, hiccuping, swallowing, coughing, and sneezing, that we have seen earlier. And for a summary, we'll go here. In short, in brainstem will provide cranial nerves to arise from the brainstem. So most of the cranial arise from the brainstem. Neural clusters within the brainstem control heart and blood vessel function, respiration, and many digestive function. Plays role in regulating muscle reflexes. Reticular formation with brain stem receives and integrates all incoming sensory input. But reticular activity and inhibit center activate and inhibit the activity of higher centers. Centers that govern the sleep are in the brainstem. Brainstem death due to vital centers in midbrain. So brainstem or brain death due to vital centers, because medulla oblongata is very important part amongst all these three. The sudden death can take place due to injury to your medulla oblongata. And my dear students, we have already studied different what you call functional centers like reticular formation earlier. You can see some physiological aspect of midbrain here. Fine discriminate touch and conscious proprioception tract for ascending sensory pathways, sensation of pain and temperature, and sensation of touch. So these are the tracts which pass through the brain stem. This is more required for physiology. So I'll just show you some of the images. Here you can see primary somatosensory cortex. So which comes to the post-central gyrus on the parietal lobe, and you can see how it traverses through the brain stem. Here you can see postcentral gyrus, and the same tract how it comes from, you know, in case of legs, lumbar to thoracic to cervical to medulla to pons to brain, midbrain to thalamus, and from thalamus it will go to postcentral gyrus. So postcentral gyrus is a primary sensory area, area number 312. I'm just showing you the tract, and the names of the tract are medial lemniscus discriminative sensation, spinothalamic tract, pain and temperature. Well, now these are the descending tract, like for movement. So these are all motor tracts: lateral corticospinal, okay, vestibulospinal, and medial longitudinal fasciculus. So this tract you have to study in more detail in your nervous system of physiology subject. I'm just showing you the tracks because they pass through it. This is the motor hierarchy here. Lateral group for corticospinal and rubrospinal tract, medial group for vestibulospinal tract and tectospinal tract and reticulospinal tract, and final common path, motor pool. Here you can see midbrain stem, medial brainstem pathway, and here reticular formation we have already studied during uh, the part of cerebrum, what we call basal nuclei, because along with limbic system we have already studied. And here you can see reticular system, because reticular formation, because it is located in the brain stem. So I'm showing it to you again. And these are the dorsal column and medial lemniscus system, which is present in the midbrain. This is tracing through the brain stem, dorsal column, medial lemniscus system. This is mostly physiology part. I'm just trying to show you, when you go to the study of tract, you should remember something from this. Corticospinal tract. Corticospinal tract means cortex to spinal cord. So that means it is a descending tract. Well, you can see fibers cortico bulbar. And with this, my dear students, we have finished the overall total study of midbrain. In this image, you can see the red color is a midbrain in the center here, and this yellow color is your diencephalon. Remaining above is the cerebrum, and below small light color is the cerebellum. That means we have to study cerebellum part tomorrow. So we'll come back tomorrow with the next episode on cerebellum. So let's take a break, and with this, end my today's webinar. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and have a nice day.